Hello, welcome to another Warrior Bowl mock draft. So today you've got me and Foley. We're going to be talking you through this mock draft. We've got 12 folks joining us for this. We've got no bots, so it's all live drafters. We've got the majority of people are Warrior Bowl participants, but we've got a couple of guys that are not. And we'll come back and we'll mention them again a little bit later on. So I'm going to be picking at the 106 spot. And Foley, you're picking at 110.
I am.
So, how are we feeling about this?
I'm ready. I am so ready. This is my spot in the 5-yard rush thing starting tomorrow. So this is going to be very, very, very good practice.
Good.
Very good practice. Good. It's all live on Twitter as well, by the way. I can see it. The technology works.
Good. This is our first ever live stream. So we've done a couple of these videos that are on YouTube with a couple of mock drafts, but this is the first one we've done live. So hopefully everyone can see us and hear us and it's all working well. But bear with us if we have any issues. So I think we're about ready to go. So we'll kick the draft off.
This might be when everyone finds out that we don't really know what we're talking about and we're just completely blagging it.
Well, in fairness, we never claimed to know what we were talking about. We just organised an event.
That is true. Wait a second.
So we are away.
2.5 minutes per pick? I thought you said we only had a minute. This means we get to chat loads.
No, it is a minute a pick. It is a minute a pick.
On Sleeper, it's come up saying 2.5 minutes.
It says on mine, 60 seconds.
What is it? This guy looks like he's got 2 minutes, 10 seconds. First guy.
It says on mine he's got 30 seconds.
Well, he's picked anyway. Patrick Mahomes, number 1. So this is Warrior Bowl scoring. This is Warrior Bowl rosters. This is as it's going to be on the day, right?
It is. So we've got so it's Superflex. We've got full PPR with an additional half PPR tight end premium. So yeah, rosters: 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex, 1 super flex, and then there's 8 bench spots. We're only going to draft 3 bench spots. We're only doing 13 rounds today just for time. But yeah, that's the scoring and the format. So
okay. Any we were having some chats during the week about what happens with people opting out and that kind of thing. Any thoughts on that? Are we going to play it as it is and just see how we go?
Well, we've been waiting to see what Sleeper were going to do with regards to it. And originally they'd said they weren't going to add any sort of COVID designation to make them eligible for IR spots, but they've I saw about 5 minutes ago they've actually announced today that they've added a COVID spot that makes them IR eligible. So what we'll probably do is we'll add a couple, 1 or 2 IR spots that people can use for COVID players. But yeah, we'll add that in the coming days and let everyone know.
So while we still got a pick before, this is the world's chance to get to know Mr. Bowl himself, Sunshine.
I'd love to tell you all about myself, but I've got a pick now. Now I'm on the clock, so
talk us through it.
So here we go, 106. So we've got obviously Lamar Jackson still there. It quite often goes before this spot. In a super flex, so that's an interesting one. Running backs wise, we've got Cook, Chubb, Henry, Jacobs, Eckler. All the receivers are there. No receivers gone off the board yet. So,
what do you think? Value of Lamar there is pretty tasty, isn't it?
Exactly. I think for me, given that he's still on the board at this point, he doesn't very often get to this point. I'll take Jackson.
Yeah, you've got to take a 1-6. You've got to take him in Superflex, haven't you?
That is a nice little start to my team.
Yeah, you weren't expecting to go QB first, though, were you?
No, I thought they'd both have gone.
Yeah. So come on, let's get to know Mr. Bowl himself, Sunshine. Who do we support?
Giants.
You're the guy who supports them. You're the one.
Someone's got to, haven't they? Someone's got to.
And why do we support the Giants?
The year that I started following the NFL, they were basically the worst team in the NFL.
Right.
So I figured, well, if I pick them, I can't be accused of being a glory supporter, can I? So,
And you still can't.
well, they've done all right since then.
Not recently.
Two Super Bowls since I've been following them, so can't complain too much.
That's true, actually. You've liked American football for a long, long time, haven't you? And you used to play. Am I right?
I did. Played a bit, coached a bit.
A really poor kicker. What was it?
I was an excellent kicker, I'll have you know.
What were you actually?
So where are we? So we've got so Cook's gone as well, and we've had the first wide receiver off the board. So Michael Thomas is gone. So no big surprises really as yet.
Well, Travis going there is a little bit of a surprise, yeah. So if I was,
okay.
if I'm thinking about tomorrow here as well, you know, there's a shout for Kittle to be taken here. I was thinking about going Kittle, and hopefully, you know, I'll probably take him at 2-3 if he's there when it comes back to me. Kittle. I don't usually go tight end early, but with the extra little bit for tight end premium, I'd definitely consider it at 2-3. I think it's a bit early. I'm a running back early kind of guy. I always take a running back early, even if I'm at 1-1. I'll still take CMC over Mahomes. So I've got to take a running back here. Chubb, I just don't see him having the same volume if Hunt's there all year. Henry, with it being half PPR, again, I just don't see him having the same kind of value. The guy I'm highest on here is actually Mixon, which is a bit of a reach considering that that's the offense with probably the biggest amount of questions on it coming into this year. But I'm taking my shot on the Bengals. I've got a lot of the Bengals in dynasty leagues as well, where I'm just taking my shot on them. I'm just assuming that Burrow's going to come in, do incredible, sexy things. AJ is going to come back. It's going to be a really good offense. So if it isn't, I'm screwed basically.
I think we established in one of the last mock drafts that, unbeknownst to you, you've become a secret Bengals truther.
Oh yeah, I had AJ Green, I had John Ross, I had Burrow, and I think I had Mixon in that as well. I had basically the Bengals.
Yeah. But yeah, and again, the Kelsey going early that I'll go in there was a possible surprise. But again, we have got that additional half point tight end premium, so it's not a huge surprise to see a tight end going in the first round.
Well, the point differential between the tight end 1 and the tight end 4, for example, is so huge compared to running back 1 and running back 4, isn't it? I mean, it's just a huge difference. Well, Kittle's gone there, so that's my decision made for me probably. I can see, you know, it looks weird to have a couple of tight ends going in the first round, doesn't it? But when you think about tight end premium, they seem to be like the most common thing now in new leagues, doesn't it? Tight end premium, you see them going so early. Who's gonna drop to me? I'm gonna go running back. I think it's usually the way I go. Running back really, really hard, really early, and then fill in wide receiver. Wide receiver, as everyone knows, is so deep. You can get great wide receivers in the 4th, 5th, 6th rounds, can't you? You can fill in your wide receiver 1s and 2s there. We got some comments here on Twitter.
Yeah.
Can you see them?
Just yeah. Following up, saying that not a big surprise for Kelsey to go in that first round. And again, tight end premium, as we said, not a huge shock for somebody to be jumping up and for taking a tight end. Although we've got a third one's just gone as well.
I'll tell you what, although I suppose if he's banking on Alshon being out, Deshaun may be having some issues with what he's said on Twitter recently. Ertz could just see volume, you know, super volume. So I suppose he has got a chance then of bumping right up. So yeah, I'm going to go running back because that's kind of the thing I like to do. Get your running backs early. I am tempted with Adams actually because I think he's got a very good shout at being wide receiver 1 this year. But I just think the value of later round wide receivers is just too much. So the other guy I'm going to go for is the guy I think has got a chance of cracking the top 5 as well, which is Miles Sanders. The fact that they haven't brought in a vet to compete with him yet. Again, I've got him in a lot of other leagues because I just think he's got that potential to be top 5, top 3. if he really turns it on. If they bring in a vet, then that changes it a little bit. But even then, I think he's still got all the ability and all the opportunity to be an absolute monster. So
yeah, I like
Sanders.
Yeah, I like Sanders a lot.
Yeah.
Very talented. The only question I think there for him is whether they continue to sprinkle in or how much they continue to use more than one back. He's done it a lot in the past.
He's never had Miles Sanders though.
True.
I looked at a report with their running back for the past however many years, and there was just some absolute dross there. So no wonder he used committees. If you don't have somebody who's good enough, then you're going to use multiples, aren't you?
Yeah, very true.
Well, I still think Devonta Freeman's just going to rock up there the day before the season starts and piss me right off. Ooh, are you allowed to swear? Is that swearing? Are you allowed to swear on Twitter?
Pass. We'll find out. So I'm thinking about what I'm going to do at this next pick. So my plan before we started, I was thinking that I was going to go quarterback late because the most of the drafts that I've done, I've gone quarterback early. Most of the sort of Superflex drafts that I've done, I've gone quarterback early.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about going with maybe a later quarterback, but that's obviously got blown out of the water already with Jackson being there. So
well, you're going to say running back now. Are you going to be the guy who actually goes this zero running back that Twitter's absolutely hammering at the moment? You could be the guy who tries it.
I could. I hate zero running back, but so what have we got? We've got Russell Wilson
at the 2-7.
We've got Wilson. We've got Murray. They're probably your two best options at QB at this point. Again, we've got Chubb. We've got Aaron Jones, Fournette. A couple more guys at running back. Receivers there, you've got Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins. See, again, I like Adams a lot, and I think...
Mate, I think that's a great shout there at 2-7.
It is. I don't like it. I don't like not taking a running back at this point, but I think I'm going to go for it, and let's see how this is let's see how it pans out.
Mate, you can't if you're at 2-7 and you've got Adams on the board. I mean, geez, you've got Funchess who's just opted out, right? So that's the fact that they had Adams and no wide receivers, and now they've got Adams and less than no wide receivers. You've got everything lined up there for Rodgers just to say, well, screw you, rookie quarterback. I'm going to throw the out of this ball, and it's all going to go to Devontae Adams. You can't pass Adams up at 2-7, mate. That's great value. If you look at Lamar and Adams as a start, round 1 and 2, running back to the kind of sexy pick right now in the early rounds, but that's a good start.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got potentially number 1 QB and number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
So,
very good shout.
I can tell I'm probably not going to like my team in a few rounds' time. I'm going to be looking at it thinking, oh, my running backs are weak. But
no, your team will end up terrible, mate. Yeah, of course. Don't worry about that. So come on, tell us, what position did you play?
Huh?
What position did you play when you played?
Safety.
No, you didn't. You're too big. You're too big and round.
I am now. Thanks.
You were an offensive lineman, weren't you?
Thanks for that, mate.
Did you not play linebacker? I'm sure you played lineman, didn't you?
I played a bit of linebacker as well, yeah, but primarily safety.
Really? So just ranging across the field, destroying people?
That in theory, yeah, in theory. So anyway, why? Anyway, moving on. Why Saints for you?
Why Saints for me? Well, on my honeymoon about 6 years ago, I knew nothing about American football other than Madden on the Mega Drive, as you know, all people with any kind of decency about them will agree and nod their head to right now, because Madden on the Mega Drive is probably the greatest game ever. So I didn't know anything more about it. So we went around the southern states of America on our honeymoon. So mooching around Nashville, Memphis, and driving down to Louisiana and on to New Orleans. And we just happened to be there when there was a Saints game at home and I didn't know anything really about the Saints either. So we just randomly got tickets, and it was Saints at home to the Bucks. And again, we didn't know that was a divisional rival. I didn't know what divisions were, so we just rocked up, had the best time in our lives. Me and the missus just sat there drinking beer and eating hot dogs and eating nuts in our seat, watching probably the most fun game I've ever seen. We went to overtime and we won on a field goal, and it was just absolutely awesome, absolutely brilliant. So I mean, we love the city itself, but we love the fact that we went to see that game. From then on, it's been all the Saints, which is quite handy really, because they've been pretty good since then.
Yeah, worked out quite well for you.
Yeah, I could be accused of glory hunting. Well, saying that,
So
we've not actually won anything.
So we've got a nice little stack going on there at the end in Mahomes and Hill.
Oh yeah, that's a good shout, isn't it? Hill at 212 feels cheap as well, doesn't it? So Johnny, our boy, is in the league as well. He's a huge Falcons fan. We were friends beforehand. Then I discovered that I loved the Saints, and he's been a Falcons fan forever. So we're obviously sworn enemies now, and we hate each other's guts, of course. And then he goes and has such a homer pick in Jones at 210. Unbelievable. Although I'd take Julio really early this year, so there's a chance there's a good chance he ends up as wide receiver 1, isn't there? Because their defense is still their defense is still terrible, and they're playing in the NFC South, which is throw the ball for fun division. So, and he's got Andrews as well. I quite like his team.
Next tight end off the board.
Yeah,
that's 4. So again, considering we've got a tight end premium, that's 4 gone in a little over 2 rounds. So it's not we've not gone super heavy. Yeah.
Do you see that? Do you see that as being the tier break now, though? Do you see that as being the tier break from, maybe you don't even put Ertz in there, but the top 3 with maybe Ertz given the circumstance? Do you see that being now the tier break until late tight end?
I think for me, so even personally, my personal preference, even on tight end premium, I'm going relatively late because I'm not prepared to pay that price on Kittle or Kelsey. And I get it. I get the value of those two. They are head and shoulders above everybody else. And I think they are the tier. And then there's a couple of guys in that next tier, and then it's everybody else. So I get it. Yeah. Personally, I don't like it. I never end up liking my team the way it ends up if I go one of those 2 guys first of all. So I'm generally going to be a wait until later got tight end. Yeah. Even in a tight end premium.
I think the problem is after those 3 or 4 in this case, it's a case of they could all be really, really good all the way down to, I don't know, Titan 10, Titan 11, Titan 12. Even further than that, you've got some people further down like your Johnny Smiths or your Hawkinsons or even your Fants who could actually jump right up and be Titan 3. You know what I mean? So you're kind of just guessing at that point, aren't you? So there's no real value in taking them early anymore. Although with the Titan premium, there's maybe a shout for doing that.
So for me, I need to be looking at running back really here, and I think
you're on the board. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to take a shot on this guy right here.
Really, Mr. No-Knees.
Mr. No-Knees, yeah, exactly.
You got that much confidence in him?
I think
clearly not. Okay,
not that much confidence. It doesn't fill me with confidence taking him there, but I don't think that they're going to need to lean on him heavily because they're obviously going to throw the ball a lot. The offense is going to do well anyway, so that there's going to be a lot of red zone opportunities there. And I think to a certain point, he's got a point to prove.
Speaking as a man who's got Brian Hill in 3 dynasty leagues, I think you're absolutely wrong, and you're just you're talking absolutely nonsense, mate. So Brian Hill all the way.
Well, I hope you're wrong. You're wrong.
Come see me for some trades for Brian Hill, please. I'll do you a good
So,
price. Great.
So looking at that spot then, so where I was then from that pick, who would you have gone there instead of Gurley?
Well, you can put basically you put the granddads in the group, don't you? You've got a granddad group of Gordon, Bell, David Johnson, and Gurley, haven't you? You've got those 4 legends of yesteryear, and you're just gonna take your pick who you think is going to be the best out of those. I'm on the clock. Let me have a quick look. So I'm kind of tempted to go 3 running backs here because QB wise, I'm fine taking a QB later on. I don't really rate any of the QBs. And Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Carson Wentz, even Breeze. They've all got a chance of being good. They've all got a chance of not being good. Tight end, I think we just discussed. I'm more than happy to wait forever until a tight end. No problem. Even with premium, I think once you've got past the first 3 or 4, that premium doesn't really mean much. Wide receiver, I've got Kenny G, who's smooth, but not that fussed. Cooper Kupp, Adam Thielen. I quite like Adam Thielen this year, actually. I'm tempted to take him, but I think he might get back to me. So I'm probably going to go another running back, and this probably answers the question that you just asked me, which is who do I think is going to get the most out of this season? And it's David Johnson, because I think the offense is going to be better than Denver. So I think he's got the edge over Gordon in that respect. Bell, I just can't trust Adam Gase, and I don't like the fact they brought Frank Gore in to run over the goal line from 1 yard out. Carson, I really like, but there's a good chance he starts injured, and you bring Carlos Hyde in to take some first, second down, some goal line stuff. So, yeah, out of those granddads, I'm kind of level between DJ and Gurley, to be honest, mate. I didn't mind the Gurley pick at all, to be honest. As you're running back 1, obviously, it's a bit worrying, but the fact that you started QB and wide receiver, it makes all the sense in the world. But I'm kind of 50-50 between DJ and Gurley. I might have gone Gurley there if he had been there, but I'm more than happy with DJ because I just think the Texans' offense is going to be that much more, scoring touchdowns or getting into touchdown possibilities than Denver, really. Otherwise, I would have took Gordon.
And that's it, I think, for like you said, there's that group of running backs. They've all got a certain amount of risk with them. They've all got potential. They've all had fantastic seasons in the past. They've all got the potential to do well again, but they've all got question marks over them for one reason or another. And I think it's a little bit, you take your pick out of those. Johnson and Gurley are probably the 2 that I prefer out of that group. And again, some drafts I've done in that situation, I've gone Johnson. A couple have gone Gurley. I've taken Bell in a couple, so I think it's
if I can,
there's not a lot to split between the 2.
Running back, and get Mixon, Sanders, and DJ in the Warrior Bowl. You may as well just tie the bands around my biceps, give me a rope to shake, and I will run in like a crazy and be the ultimate warrior.
Okay. So here's a question then. So somebody in the on the draft chat said they were gifted Kyler Murray at 309, which that's pretty late for a Superflex league for him to be going at 309. Would you have taken him at 310 if he'd have got to you?
You know what? I was listening to a podcast today. I can't remember which one, but I've been really high on Kyler Murray in Dynasty especially, but then redraft I've been super high on him as well. And I listened to something today, a couple of days ago, I might have been, that said, the fact when Kenyon Drake came in, it looked like Cliff Kingsbury switched to, this air raid, this kind of 18 wide receivers on the field isn't really working. We're going to run the ball. And it looked like they were kind of taking the ball out of his hands. And I can't remember the stats. I don't have his hand, but it looked like they were gonna run the ball a hell of a lot. And it looks like
you're on the clock here as well, mate.
Am I?
Yep. Sorry to cut you off mid.
I was making such a good point. Okay,
so you were.
My points from before stand. So I'm torn here between 3 guys, which is Thielen, Beckham, and A-Rob. A lot of people love Beckham. A lot of people love A-Rob. I'm going to go with Thielen, which is probably a bit early for some people, but I just think in that offense with a really accurate quarterback and a rookie on the other side of him and no real slot receiver, it's going to be Thielen and then a bit more Thielen. He's got a chance of being, 120, 130 targets, maybe even more if he plays the full season. And if you're talking that kind of volume when he's got such good hands, I can see. We had that. What was it? Year before last, he had that half a season where he's wide receiver one. I can see that happening again this year. So
yeah.
it probably feels a bit early to some to have Adam Thielen as your wide receiver one, but I've got a good feeling about him being top 8, top 5, maybe having a chance at top 3 this year. What was I waffling on about?
I don't know. Some rubbish. I don't see him getting that high. I'm not completely sold on Thielen, to be perfectly honest. I'd have rather gone Robinson. I'm a little bit of a Robinson.
That Bears offense is just naughty. It's awful.
It is. But he is very good.
I'm a Miller man though. I'm Miller time this year.
Yeah, I think he's a good option later on.
I think he takes a lot more targets this year.
Back to me again. So QB wise, we've got Rodgers is there, Wentz, Ryan. Don't think I'm going to go QB yet. I think I'll hold off on that. I think probably need to be looking at another running back, and I'm probably looking at another guy from that group. So we've got Bell, we've got Kerryon, Montgomery, Ingram, Connor.
You've got 10 seconds.
I have. So for me, I think I'm going to go with Bell. So another guy out of that group. I like him to have a bounce back this year. Obviously, and again, we said all of those guys in that group have got question marks. Obviously, the question mark for Bell is Adam Gase and that offense. So I think that that offense has got to be better this year than it was last year.
Yeah.
So that should mean a slight improvement for him over last year.
You know, I think we're on opposite sides of the fence there. I'd probably have gone. It's a risk, so maybe you don't want to take the risk when he's running back too. But I probably would have gone Connor because if he stays healthy, he's going to be amazing for redraft. I think he's got all the potential to be that. You know, he was drafted in the first round last year, wasn't he? Before all the injuries and stuff. And I know the injuries are obviously a part of the conversation with him. But I probably would have took Connor, and then I probably would have took my boy. You know, my boy Monty. As much as I don't like the Bears offense, I think he is the only person on the Bears offense, well, in the running game, obviously, that's going to get volume. I think I'm just down on Bell this year because he's another year older. He's another year odder. And Adam Gase, Exhibit A, Adam Gase. You know what I mean? But you might be. I mean, he's still Bell, isn't he? He's still Le'Veon Bell, so he's still got the skills. You've got an old running back room. They will be smoking pipes, wearing slippers. What the hell, man? They will be watching like 80s cartoons.
There's nothing wrong with 80s cartoons. 80s cartoons are solid.
I'd quite happily sit there and watch them with them. Where's this Twitter chat thing?
So we've got how many teams? 3 teams yet to take a QB, including you.
Yeah,
Superflex.
Give it a while.
So and that's the second team there.
What's your favourite 80s cartoon?
Thundercats.
You're correct. Well done.
Thank you.
Who's your favourite Thundercat?
Lion-O, surely, really.
Incorrect. It's Panthro, but good effort.
Thanks. Sorry. Yeah. My bad.
If you had said Snarf, we'd probably just end this right now, wouldn't we?
We'd forget it, obviously. So there we go. So then at the start of this round, we've had Juju, Robert Woods, Montgomery. So Montgomery's a guy I would have looked at had he got back to me. Yeah. He was one I was considering instead of Bell. Robert Woods, I like Robert Woods a lot this year.
He still got
he
James
went after
Conner.
he went after Cup. So interesting to see that those two guys are pretty close in terms of where they're going, which one's going first.
Yeah.
Juju could be great value at the start of the 5th. If he can become that true number one guy in that offense, he could be fantastic value.
I'm not taking my shot. I'm not taking my shot on him this year. I'm just not. I think I just don't trust Big Ben to be healthy. I just don't see it. I think he's just old and he's coming off a bad elbow injury, and he looked like he couldn't be asked at some point in the season before. So I just don't have any faith in Big Ben being, and if he's not there, then I don't have any faith in the offense.
Yeah. No, that's it. It's a concern. If he's not there, then it's a definite concern. So for me, so again, we're looking
John Connor.
So I think I'm probably going to leave it for another round for receivers. Tight ends I'm not looking at all. QBs, there's still a few guys there that I'd be happy to have as my second QB, so I think I'm going to swerve on that. Running backs, again, I think for me, again, I'm going to dip back into that similar sort of pool.
Ingram.
Take Ingram.
Over Connor, yeah?
I think so. I mean, that stacks him with Jackson. So basically, if they score on the ground early on, it should be one of those two.
Wait, are you just taking the piss out of me by having the oldest running back room ever? Are you going to take Gore in like round 13 just to prove that point? Okay.
Yeah. Basically. So I know there's a lot of love for Dobbins, and I'm sure he's going to do well, but I don't think Ingram disappears without a fight.
Well, he's good though, Dobbins, isn't he? He's very good, and I get that Ingram knows the offense and stuff. But if Dobbins comes in and just has a couple of those massive breakaway runs, you're just not going to take him off the field, are you? You know, he's good. He's very, very good, isn't he?
Yeah.
Ooh, right, I'm up. So Darius Guy's going at 5'9". That is a guy who loves the Washington football team. See how I did that? Right, so I'm probably going to dip into QB here. Now, I'm very tempted with Daniel Jones because I love his upside, but his early season schedule is just nasty. And I get in redraft, you kind of want to win early, don't you? So I'm going to take the guy that I think has got the biggest upside here, especially early in the season. That's Matthew Stafford, because he was, the QB 3 or something by week 8 when he got injured. So, yeah, I'm going to... I'm more than happy with him as my QB1 because I think he's got that QB1 upside or QB top 5 upside because he was there and nothing's really changed except the fact that he's got a really good pass catching back in Swift coming in to help him with a few dump offs and screen passes and so on. So the defense hasn't got any better. It's got worse, hasn't it? Because they took Slay away. I know they've added the rookie, what's his name, but they're not going to be keeping people out. They're going to need to score. So I'll take him as my next QB, and I'll see what comes back. I'm probably
Stafford's a good option there. Ton of upside if he can stay healthy. He could be a steal at that point.
Yeah,
Ridley at the end of the 5th is quite it's quite low. I've seen him going a lot higher than that in a lot of drafts.
Well, I was tempted with him on next pick. See, I'm torn now, depending on what happens between these two picks, between double dipping on QB or getting a wide receiver 2. I'm probably going to go wide receiver 2. I'm probably going to go, I was just about to say Odell Beckham Jr. I'm not anymore, Sunshine, because he's fucking gone.
What are you going to do?
I would have took Beckham. Definitely would have took Beckham because I think he's still got upside. There is a guy that I'm definitely hoping doesn't get picked in this next pick. I'm just going to cross these, and cross that, and just hope that he doesn't go because I think he's got the potential to way outperform his ADP.
Receiver?
Come on, FFAES.
Receiver?
Yeah, receiver. Who do you think I'm talking about?
Lockett.
Yeah. There he is. So Tyler Lockett, just Russell Wilson's number one guy. My number one guy. I think he's got the volume, he's got the deep play, he's got take it to the house from a screen pass. He's got a defense that's not as good as it was. I think things are set up there for Lockett to have probably his biggest fantasy season of his career so far. I'd probably think twice in Dynasty, but in redraft, I think he's got everything. So if you look at my wide receiver room of Thielen and Lockett, it doesn't sound sexy, does it? But I think they're the two guys, or two of the guys that I think not sexy, massive upside. I'd be well happy with those two, especially in best ball actually for tomorrow.
Yeah. I like Lockett a lot. And yeah, there's a lot of hype for Metcalf, and justifiably so. But yeah, Lockett's almost become a little bit of a forgotten man at times. But so back to me. So I think I was planning on not going QB just yet, but I think there's a couple of guys that have gone towards the end of that round and in this round. So I might grab one now and get somebody that I want. So for me, the guy that I'm going to take at this point is, if I can find him, Kirk Cousins. So I think he's a steady option.
Yeah, I'd have sniffed after. I would definitely have sniffed after him as my QB too, 100%. I think he's got a very, very, very high floor and a decent ceiling as well, actually.
Yeah, he's a steady guy. He's not he could very well set the world alight. I don't think he probably does, but he's solid, as you say. He's got a relatively high floor. I've already got Jackson as my first QB, so we've got a ton of upside there.
Yeah. That's a good duo. Yeah, that's good.
So I'm happy with that. And I could have waited another round, but then we're potentially dropping into guys like Garoppolo, Goff, Rivers, Minshew, Locke, Tannehill. Again, guys that have potentially got some upside. But again, I think there's a lot more question marks with a lot of those guys.
No, I like that as a tandem though. Like you've got Jackson's like back crazy upside, and then you've got Cousins' floor. But I also like Cousins' upside actually. I think our friend Vegard is on the chat saying that his connection's dropped out, so he's just being given what he gets, and I don't think he's happy with Mayfield, which is fair. And Sutton, although it's quite late, I suppose, so Sutton's probably a value there, but I've not got much time for him as a top performer this year. But sorry, buddy. Get some internet. I know you're in Norway. It's not that cold. What's up with you?
I'd be happy with Sutton. At that point. Baker less so.
Are you a Drew Lock guy, or are you not a Drew Lock guy? Because just as a little sneak preview, I'm not a Drew Lock guy.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Thanks for the analysis.
I know. Yeah, really insightful there. There's he's got all the opportunity in the world to do well there now, hasn't he? In terms of the weapons that they've got for that offense.
Yeah.
So I think really and truly it's put up or shut up, isn't it, this year? He either needs to take a step and show that he can do it, or he doesn't. So
I think the problem is I remember seeing a rookie scouting report for him before the draft last year, and it's always stuck with me, this like kind of just this sentence saying that when faced with pressure, he himself basically. And I suppose he didn't show that in the back end of last year when he was doing really well, but it's just always stuck with me. I just think when he's schemed for, when he gets under pressure, I think he's just going to crumble. Probably a bit harsh. If he was here now, I probably wouldn't say it to him either. Hopefully he doesn't see this. Maybe he sees this. Oh, no.
Maybe he does. I don't. I'm going to stick my neck out and say he probably doesn't. But
wait a second. Has Johnny just taken Gardner Minshew in the 6th round?
He loves a bit. That's his first QB as well.
I think given the choice,
he does love a bit of Minshew, though, doesn't he?
His moustache, wouldn't he? Johnny, if you're watching this, don't do it, man. You'll get arrested. Why does he love him so much? He really does, doesn't he?
He does.
Actually, I quite like him in redraft. And he's took my boy Jonathan Taylor. We have arguments. We have stand-up rows over Jonathan Taylor because I have him in most places and he wants him in every place. And I won't give him in any place. So he offers me the world. He offers me the world and I say no.
I'd have been happy to take Taylor there if he'd have got back to me. And to be fair, he's probably the person I would have taken had I not taken Cousins in the last round. But
yeah,
I'm okay with it. I think that was the right decision. Get Cousins.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I could have ended up picking Minshew. So
yeah, Taylor feels like a value there, though, in the 7th round. I mean, if there's obviously the chance that Mac still takes some work and Hines takes some passing work and so on and so on, but he could easily be this time next year talked about as a top 5-6 pick because he absolutely battered everybody in rushing yards and took maybe 25-30 receptions, especially towards the back end of the season, from Rivers, who loves to dump off. He could actually be the guy who really kind of smashes his rookie season and turns into an almost Saquon next year.
Yeah.
Hence why
I think, and that's second half of the season. I think absolutely. It's just how long it takes him to get the workload. I think is the question at the minute.
Come on, then, granddad running backs. What are we having?
Let's have a look. So, again, do I want another running back?
Yeah, because they're all old. They'll probably die halfway through the season.
I would like another running back, but I don't know. Nobody at this point, nobody excites me from that running back group. So, who?
Oh no! Oh,
this guy.
No, Sony Michel.
But just the volume.
I don't want to be rude, but he's starting on the pub.
Maybe.
You heard it here first. Me and Bill close.
It's possible. Hey, he could join that. He could join that very long list of opt-outs from the Patriots. So
I don't think he'd opt out because Bill would never speak to him again, and he'd just be put in the bin, wouldn't he? But I think he might start the season injured though. That's the only worry about him. You're right though with the volume. I mean, he should see a lot of volume, shouldn't he? Right, so I'm back up now. I've got one QB. I've got Mixon, Sanders, and Johnson at running back, which I like, but I do like a lot of running backs, so I'm tempted to take another one. I've got 2 wide receivers who I love, even though they're not sexy. So QB wise, you know what? I'm fine waiting for another QB because I like the people who are 6-7 picks down. I don't like the people who are probably next up in terms of ADP and what people are going to choose. Running back that is getting thin. I quite like a lot of the wide receivers, but I know that at least 2 or 3 of them are going to get back to me in the next round, if not the round after. So really, I'm going to have to take a running back here. And it's full PPR, yeah?
Yeah.
Which means this might not be as crazy as it sounds because I'm going to take the guy who was he running back 1 2 years ago? I think he was, wasn't he? Came in at running back 10 or 11 or something in full PPR, Cohen. I had him in our home league, and I'm pretty sure he came in as a running back 1, or he was close to it, wasn't he? He was a high-end running back 2 at the very least. So if the Bears offense goes back to Nagy actually doing the right thing and not being a crazy son of a bitch, then Cohen's got a chance at being that guy. So as my running back 4, I'm more than happy with Cohen there. I've got him in quite a few places this year.
Yeah, I'm not.
He's not convinced. He's not.
No, I'm not sold. Not sold on that. And I reckon, arguably, we're looking at him a little bit later. Well, quite a bit later, potentially. I'm not sure if you don't pick him. I reckon he at least gets back to you around. Huh?
You sure you're not too used to doing half PPR?
No, I don't think so. I don't see him. I think you could have waited 2 rounds and wait till it got back to you around 9 again. I think he'd have gone. Maybe he does. Maybe he does.
Like him this year. I really like him this year on PPR. I really think he's going to get back to that kind of high-end running back 2, possibly even running back 1 if he really gets a lot of those receptions. It depends. The fact that Foles isn't actually opting out now, which he isn't, is he? I don't think it's been that.
No, it was just a rumor, fake news.
Yeah, I think either Trubisky gets a little bit better or Foles comes in. Either way, I think there's going to be a lot more targets closer to the line of scrimmage, which is Cohen all day long. You know, he can take things to the house from from anywhere, especially from close to the line of scrimmage. So I genuinely think he's going to be a big part of that. So I'm actually happy to get him. He's probably a bit early, but you've got to get your guy, haven't you? So
it's someone commented saying his ADP is about 124, but at the end of the day, if he's the guy you want, take him. Go and get him.
Well, in PPR, I think he's shot up recently. Let's talking about our PPR, right? So anyway, I'm probably going to look at either a wide receiver 3 here or my QB2. I've just had a quick scan across the rest of the league. There's 1, 2, 3 teams with 1 QB. So there's a good chance that those guys take a second QB and other people might take a third. So I'm probably going to have to go QB, even though I'm not that fussed about it at this stage. So I'm torn between Jared Goff, who I like. I think he's going to have to throw the ball a lot. And I'm going to take Goff. I think there's a couple of other guys that I like, but I think the risk is a little bit too high. Whereas Goff, I think, especially towards the back end of last season when he went to the more 12 personnel with 2 wide receivers, and he was throwing the hell out of the ball to Higbee and to Bobby Woods. I think that they've realised that that's the way they're probably going to win games. So I think the fact that they haven't really changed much in terms of defense or offense, actually, except get rid of people. I think they're probably going to have to win games in the same kind of way that they figured out towards the back end of last season, which is Goff throwing the ball a fair bit, as opposed to the first half when he didn't, and he was terrible. So again, I don't think he's a very sexy pick, but I've got him in a few places because I think he's got that kind of. This time next year, you look back and think, I could have really done with Goff in my team.
Yeah, better comment there as well, just to say, Owen looks like he's 90 on full PPR ADP, so quite a bit higher. But yeah.
Mate, so, blaze your own trail, sunshine. Don't listen to the haters. Don't listen to them.
If he's your guy, you take him. You fill your boots.
Oh, mate, if I die on the hill that's called Tariq Cohen, that would be a really sad time.
That's a sad place. That's a yeah. It's not a particular hill I want to die on. I'll be honest.
I'm getting rinsed here in the chat for Cohen. Screw you,
Good.
Twitter
Good.
And the world.
Good. So. Right, coming up to me. I think I'll probably need to take another receiver because I've only got 1 so far.
I want you to caption this, and this time next year, release it to the world and have the world know that I was right. If I'm wrong, though, don't do that.
Okay, we'll just bury it otherwise.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
So Diggs, I would have looked at. Ugh. So
Diggs would be a good shout there. I mean, he's a wide receiver 1 in his team, regardless of what you think of the ball. And
so I know what you're going to say here. So we've got a couple of guys.
Go on.
That we're looking at. I know it's a guy that you like, actually.
Go on.
So, but I'm going to lean into the really old, slightly broken team that I'm building here.
Go on.
I'm going to take AJ Green.
Oh, get off my guy. I was hoping he'd get back to me, actually. I wanted him as my wide receiver 3. You only took him just to piss me off there. he would have come right back to me, 100%. No one else would have took him. All right.
So,
not that this Cohen thing is bothering me at all, but who else would you have taken at running back
instead of Cohen?
Don't say Cam Akers.
Yeah, I probably would have taken Cam Akers.
No, you wouldn't. A rookie coming into a terrible, terrible offensive line who's got Darrell Henderson who knows the offense much better than him. And Malcolm Brown's going to get goal line. You
just picked the QB sat behind that terrible, terrible offensive line.
Because he's got to throw it and go quick.
Well, to be fair, I wouldn't have taken Cohen. Not a chance. I'd have been taking Cohen there. I'd have sooner taken maybe probably over Cohen.
Dobbins?
No, because I've already got Ingram.
Yeah, Lindsay.
You've got people like, if you're wanting volume, you're potentially looking at someone like Howard.
What, in half PPR?
Huh?
I think the thing about the Dolphins' backfield is I'm probably half and half on Breeder and Howard. I quite like them both, but that's the problem because I think they're probably both going to annoy each other. So I quite like Breeder.
That's the issue. I like Breeder a lot. I think he's clearly the more talented of the two.
Yeah.
But he seems to constantly play a bit banged up. And again, it's a question about you don't know how that backfield's going to get distributed. So
yeah.
Who've we got? So yeah,
some good wide receivers.
JB with Darnold. That's another guy that JB is a big fan of. Minshew and Darnold. He loves those guys.
I just can't see it. I just can't see anything that involves Adam Gase having a good time in life.
I think Darnold does. I think the Jets are better than they were last year on offense. So I think Darnold does better than he was last year. He was obviously not really healthy.
Well, they got a better O-line as well. No, is Johnny listening to us? I don't love Darnold. Evidence suggests you do.
Has quite a few shares of him for somebody who doesn't like. But hey, there we go.
Johnny also respects me as probably his mentor in life. He said to me many times he thinks I'm the greatest man alive. Just so that the internet is clear.
So we know his judgment is clearly poor on that basis.
Actually, that's a good point because he's chosen some terrible players in his time, hasn't he? Yeah, I didn't think about that. Marvin Jones, good value. Got a lot of time for that.
Again, if the Lions do well, if Stafford holds up and stays healthy, Marvin Jones could be a steal.
Yeah, I was hoping to get him. I was hoping to get him and stack him with Stafford. Actually, I was hoping to get him next round. God damn it! Look at all these wide receivers going. There's not going to be much left for me, is there?
There's always plenty of wide receivers left.
God damn it! I think AJ Green would have gone actually, considering the wide receiver run we've had here. Oh mate, it looks like as that FFAES guy auto picked and took Higbee and Jonnu in the 7th and 8th round. Out with Zach Ertz already. God damn, that is heavy tight end.
I don't know. I don't know whether they were or not.
I don't know. That's a. Is he hoping that people come to him and say, "Please, can I trade for a tight end in week 1?" No. Maybe. So, Sunshine, where's your favourite place to pick from? What are you hoping for?
Either end. I'm not too fussed. I seem to pretty much everything I've done of late. I've been slap bang in the middle. So, although the Scott Fishbowl satellite, I had the 101, which was quite nice change. But yeah, everything else I've pretty much been slap bang in the middle. So.
Yeah, I'm probably the same. I'd much prefer to be on the turn. I'd probably take the 1-1. Yeah, I probably would, just to get that really high value. But if I wasn't the 1-1 or maybe the 1-2, I'd probably go to the 1-12. I quite like being on the turn. Some people really, really don't like it, do they? Because they've got such a long wait between the picks. But I quite like the ability to control runs and control drafts and control where people have to draft afterwards. So what are we doing for the Warrior Bowl divisions then? Are we just going to randomise all the drafts and everyone just gets allocated a draft spot and cries or cheers or that type of thing?
We will be, yeah. They'll all be randomised.
Yep.
As soon as the divisions are full, when people accept the invites, we'll get them sorted.
Yeah.
So for me, my pick again. So there's still some good tight end options out there, considering where we are and considering there's a tight end premium. You've still got Hooper, Engram, Gronk, Hockenson, Fant. There's loads of guys out there. So tight end, I'm not taking a tight end. I'm going to wait longer on that. There's still plenty of guys there. Another receiver, I think, is in order for me. I've only got the two. And AJ Green. Who knows what's going to happen with AJ Green?
You're going to take my guy. You're going to take my guy.
I don't know. I'm going to take this guy.
Yeah, he was high up on the list actually, especially in PPR. He's going to be the safety net, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And I think there was all manner of question marks before when you had Stidham.
Yeah.
What the offense was going to look like. Cam's a little bit more of a known entity, so hopefully the offense should be a bit better with him. So
yeah, I wanted Brandon Cooks, so thank you, Go Cal 01. Brandon Cooks, I think, has got a chance of being Deshaun Watson's number one weapon this year, so I really hoped he had a drop to me. I'm probably going to go wide receiver tight end here, because I'm probably going to have to take a tight end before you do, just to make sure I get the guy I want. But I'm going to risk it with a wide receiver first. It's kind of take your pick now, isn't it? Because any of these guys could go up or down. I'm going to take the guy that I think has got best chance of being on the best offense and having the most targets. So Sanders is the guy there for me. I mean, he was brilliant on the 49ers when he was actually healthy last year, and he's going to arguably a better passing offense, right? I think people are really sleeping on the fact that the wide receiver 2 at New Orleans, my boys, except for the last couple of years when it's been Traquan Smith, has always been fantasy relevant, top 24, I think. So I get that he's old and he's maybe not a sexy name, but I've really got a lot of time for the fact that Breeze is going to have to do everything possibly can to win this year, because it's probably his last year, right? So he's going to throw the ball everywhere, and MT being a legend, of course. Jared Cook looking like he's got some chemistry, but Emmanuel Sanders is really, really good. Like really.
You seen that? You seen that comment there? Not only did you get sniped, but he also said you're the one that wanted to swap spots from 9 to 10.
Correct. It's true.
Just to add insult to injury.
Yeah.
But no, Sanders. I like Sanders.
I could have had Brandon Cooks.
No. Year. I like Cooks as well. I think Cooks has got a good.
Yeah, I think Cooks has got the chance to be like back where he was, 1,000-yard seasons, high-end wide receiver 2. He's going to be a huge value there at 9-9, I reckon. So I'm going to take wide receiver here, and I'm going to stack TJ with my boy Stafford, because I think he's got that potential to be second-year breakout. Tight ends, usually take 2-3 years before they really learn an offense and get cracking. He looked good with Stafford, obviously, in week 1 last year when he absolutely went mental. But I think a little bit more time with Stafford, a little bit more time learning the offense. Athletically, he's amazing, isn't he? He's an absolute specimen. So I think he's probably my favourite guy from the lower tier to really have a chance at breaking into that top tier in this season. I've got him in a lot of different places, so I'm really happy to get Hockenson as tight one. I think he'll get a lot of targets as well. Considering it's tight premium, I think he'll actually get targets as opposed to just downfield red zone stuff.
Yeah, again, it sits with that Lions offense. If Stafford can stay healthy, if they can put it together, could be a high scoring offense. So any piece of that offense could be valuable. So
they're not going to be able to keep the other team out, are they?
Well, not if past experience is anything to go by.
Patricia's probably not there after this year, is he?
They need to take a significant step, I think, if he is going to be. So
yeah.
So coming back, get a bit closer to me. So still no tight end for me. Am I the only one not to take a tight end yet?
You always like to be, don't you? No, actually, Team 1 and Team 2 don't have a tight end.
Oh, yeah.
You're probably going to have to take one now, aren't you? Because I know late is cool, but that late isn't cool. You're going to take Hayden Hurst, aren't you?
To be fair, in the Scott Fishbowl satellite leagues, I was the last person to take their first tight end of anybody across all of 120 divisions. I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think there's anything to brag about, because I left it about one round too late and got shafted.
Who did you get there? You got some shocking players, didn't you?
I can't even remember who I got. It was
Ebron or something. Yeah. Was he tight?
No, I missed Ebron. There's people like Ebron and Doyle that I wanted to try and grab. Missed all of those. I can't even remember who I ended up picking, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Right, so let's get this pick done. So I'm gonna, again, because we're doing with Superflex, I'm gonna grab a third QB. So I want somebody. No, I'm gonna wait again. I want another QB that's serviceable, that's useful, that's going to be able to contribute, and I can play those matchups between him and Cousins. So I think Cam. I like Cam. I think I've bought into the hype with Cam. So I like Cam to have a good year this year.
Yeah, mate, that's not a bad QB3 to have, is it? If he's close to being Cam and he's schemed for, which you'd imagine Belichick will do, he's gonna prove it. Probably no more than 1 year. They're gonna get everything they possibly can out of him, which means he's probably going to use his legs, even though he might not necessarily have the same legs that he used to. I think he's going to have all the attitude in the world coming into this year, isn't he? So Cam's a great shout. Cam's a brilliant shout. If the decent tight ends get back to you, that is the universe not being fair. And I think they will. You've got Austin Hooper, I think is being undervalued right now. I think he's got a huge amount of value. I don't like him as a top tight end, but we're getting down to tight end stupid now. And he's been brought in and paid a lot of money to play in a Stefanski offense, which really relies on the tight end a lot. They're not going to pay him a lot of money in a tight end heavy offense to not throw in the ball. So I think Hooper's probably a great shout. Fant's got the upside that you'd want for the stars. Jarwin is the sexy kind of sleeper pick, but Hurst is there, and Hurst is probably, he's gone now, but he's most people's good shout for a proper big year this year, isn't he?
Yeah, doubled up at the end. I like that. I like that strategy. Leave it late and then double tap on the tight ends. I'm a big fan of that. So I like Ebron as well. So just out of interest, I looked up the tight ends that I got in Scott Fishbowl, and I ended up with Njoku, Rudolph, and Caden Smith.
God, that's nasty.
So not a glamorous tight end room by any stretch of the imagination.
That actually gave me a little pain in my chest. That's awful.
It's not pretty. It's not what I was hoping for, not what I was aiming for, but there we go. The saving grace is that it's best ball because it's the satellite leagues.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to make a choice between those three. The best one will play, and obviously there's potential upside with Smith if Ingram goes down, which there's every chance.
You also don't need to go to waivers and look for an even better tight end, which
exactly
probably destroy your soul.
Which would be virtually impossible. How on earth would I find better tight ends than that off waivers? But
Njoku's your best tight end. Wow.
We'll just hold out for the trade.
Yeah. What are you thinking? Tight end?
So, if Hurst had been there, I'd have definitely taken Hurst at this point.
Yeah.
But he's gone, so I'm not going to jump on tight end. I'm happy to wait a little bit longer again. There's nobody that really. Yeah. There's no one who's leaving out me.
What just happened?
Yeah, I'm gonna push it. He who dares and all that.
No, he who loses.
Well, quite possibly. So another receiver for me, and I'm going to go with a little bit of a homer pick. I want to take that guy.
Yeah, that is a homer pick, big time. I mean, I was having a look at things before my rankings, and I was like, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Golden Tate. Who's number one? It could be any of them, right? I mean, you're probably safer with Shepard. Maybe safer with Shepard. I think he's probably the better player out of the three. Do you think?
I think so. I think he's the better. He's the better technician. He's the better route runner.
Yeah. It could be any of them, though, right? I mean, Slayton's got that upside.
It could be.
Came in at the same time as Jones. He's got that chemistry with the rookie and the rookie. You got Tate, who's just like the guy's been around for a long time, knows how to get the yards, knows how to get separation and just get those extra yards. So then you got Shepherd, who's probably got a bit of both, right? So yeah, that's a tricky one. It's a tricky one with the Giants. If you get the right one with Daniel Jones potentially taking a step forward, you're into money, aren't you? So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Superflex. I'm going to need that third QB. I'm looking down the list and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm probably don't want to risk a guy who's going to play half a season like your Tyrod, like your Tua. Tua could actually play a full season given what's been released today, but I like Fitz to start a few games at least. The only guy I see on the list, and I mean the only guy I see on the list who's starting the whole season and has actually got really good upside because I've got a lot of time for him, is Teddy B. So I'm going to take Teddy B there as my third QB because I think, you know, I would have been happy taking Teddy B ahead of a lot of the other guys you've just gone before, like your Haskins, your Drew Lock, even Derek Carr. I quite like Derek Carr actually, but your Rivers, even Tannehill. I think Teddy's going to have to throw the ball a hell of a lot, and he's going to have to throw it very short. So he's going to get a lot of those short targets to DJ Moore, to McCaffrey, and they're just going to get it and run, and he's going to get all the points for that. So I really quite like Teddy B in that offense, especially with the OC guy who was with him at the Saints. I think there's a bit of chemistry there as well. So I'm really happy that you dropped there. I think he's a real value down there, considering who he's gone after. Yeah, I'm quite happy with those three QBs. I think that's three decent QBs. Oh shit! There's only two more rounds after this, isn't there?
You know, when we said earlier right at the start that I'd planned on going QB later, and that I went QB wide receiver, and I wasn't going to like my team.
Yeah,
I don't like my team.
You don't like it?
I don't like it.
I like your team. Give me your team. Your team's nice.
I like the QBs. I don't really like the rest of it, to be perfectly honest.
Mate, you've got Adams and I suppose I'm an AJ Green fan, aren't I? So if I had Adams and AJ Green as my wide receiver 1-2, happy. It depends how you feel about old running backs. If the granddads can actually put up a decent season, you've got everything there on your plate, haven't you? Yeah. Although if they don't, you're absolutely screwed, and you'd have a terrible.
Well, exactly, yeah, exactly. And as you said, we said right at the start, I don't like not going running back in those first couple of rounds. Yeah. The way the board fell, we thought, well, it's a mock draft. We may as well lean into it, go down that route, see how it pans out. And as expected, don't really like it, but there we go. That's why it's a mock draft. That's to have a look at these sorts of things and confirm what we already knew.
Correct.
Take a running back in the first 2 rounds.
Lesson learned, kids. So there's only 2 more rounds. I mean, we're not doing a full bench, are we? So you're not going to get one of those. You know, there's a couple of really later round guys that I really like that actually might go between now and then. People like Antonio Gibson, I really like later on. I really like Tony Pollard as a guy who's actually got a bit of standalone value, but his heat went down. Obviously, he's a league winner. I'm going to take another running back though, and I'm going to go with, again, I'm thinking PPR, and I'm thinking not sexy, but I'm thinking something that's got a very high floor, and I'm going to take James White, who I think is the twin of Tarek Cohen really this year. And if I like Cohen, I'm probably going to have to like James White, because I think they used to say that Cam didn't throw to the running back, and then CMC turned up who can catch a pass from the backfield, and look what happened there. And James White isn't CMC, but he can catch a pass from the backfield. And they're coming into a new offense, especially with all the crap that they've had over the last couple of weeks, or the last couple of days with people pulling out. I can see James White being a proper kind of safety blanket who kind of looks a little bit like CMC to Cam. So, again, from a PPR standpoint, if I've got 3 good running backs at the start, Mixon, Sanders, Johnson, and then I've got a really high floor for flexes and bye weeks in Cohen and White, more than happy at running back there. I think they're good value. I think they'll really return on ADP. Have I convinced you?
Sure, why not? to be fair, I think there's
no tight time.
Oil was the one that I wanted.
Mate, just take Njoku. He's your boy. He'll get no targets. Crap.
Don't want him again.
You know, there's a shout that says Njoku gets traded and he's worth a lot.
Yeah.
But that is thin.
That is a That's a kick in the balls right there. I was hoping he was going to. I was going to be quite happy about getting him that late, but never mind. So,
you're going deep. I like that.
we'll go. We'll lean in on those. On the Jets being a little bit better than they were last year. Hopefully, he can stay healthy.
Yep. Yeah, I've been pretty vocal in the fact that I don't think a Gase offense has got anything to offer. But if there's any kind of value in that offense, I genuinely think it's probably going to be Chris Herndon, because he's got, well, no competition. He's got Sam Darnold, who seems to have a little bit of chemistry with him, and he's got, you know, a lot of talent. So I think he's probably your best value there at tight end. There's a shout to say Jarwin has probably got a better opportunity. Maybe Thomas has got a better opportunity, but I think if you're going to go this late, it doesn't really matter. You're going to pick your guy you think's got the upside, aren't you?
Exactly.
And he has got some upside, Herndon. As long as he can get out of the doghouse and maybe stay away from Adam Gase, like hide behind the corner or something. Right. So last pick. Who are you thinking? What are you thinking? What's your roster looking like? Good, bad? Well, bad.
Not great.
Not great.
I'm gonna make myself a mild excuse and say that I've been half drafting, half concentrating on driving this live stream for the first time, as we said at the start, that we've not done this before. So I think I've taken my eye off the ball a little bit on my picks. So
you've drafted some terrible teams in the past, though, mate. So that's the problem.
Thanks, mate. Good enough to win our home league though last year. So
I was just gonna say you've drafted some good teams. You have.
Tease me up for that one.
Yeah. You are the reigning champion of our legendary home league.
Legendary,
We need to get the trophy back actually and get your name on it, don't we?
Absolutely. Yeah. So last pick though. Don't know. Obviously, I'm not taking another quarterback. I've already got 3. I don't need any more than that.
I like Alan Lazard there. I think, especially with Funchess now opting out, I think Lazard's probably a very, very, very good shout to be that wide receiver too. Oh my God! Good job nobody took him. I've just seen breaking news. Chiefs running back Damian Williams has opted out of the 2020 season. Whoever got CEH is in this mock anyway. Is running around naked in a mock. I may move him up my board for tomorrow.
That's That's the highest profile opt out so far, isn't it?
That's big news. Do you reckon it's because, like, Andy Reid just said to him, "This young guy's like so much better than you, and you're a bit crap. So do yourself a favour. Save yourself."
I'm sure it's probably factored into his thinking that actually they've drafted this guy. They're probably going to give him a ton of work. What does that mean for me?
Yeah.
How much am I going to play?
So good in the playoffs, though, wasn't he? So good. Well, no, sorry, so good in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl MVP, wasn't he? Well, arguably.
He's not terrible. He's not a terrible running back. It's a very good system. It's a very good system that if you're going to be a featured back, which none of them were true featured backs in that system last year, but if you're going to get the opportunities, you're going to produce. But
mate, if you've got Clyde in any kind of league right now, that is a nice way to go to bed, isn't it?
I've got him in no leagues, so
neither do I. Damn. Yeah, he's just shot right up, hasn't he? I mean, what's his competition? Damian Williams and Darwin Thompson. Darwin Thompson, what was he, a 6th round pick and about half the size of me, and I'm not that big.
Yeah, and he didn't do a great deal. Thompson didn't do a great deal last year either, did he? When he got
no, and they tried to feature him.
He didn't get loads of opportunities, but he got a few, and he didn't do a great deal with them.
Would you take him now? Though? Would you take him now as a possible? You know,
Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, you've just taken Damian Williams out of the equation.
Maybe really late, but I don't see it. So for me, so I'd consider Slayton at this point, but I've already taken Shepherd, so I don't want both of them. But a guy, I think I need another receiver. So the guy we mentioned earlier, in Anthony Miller.
You bugger. Yeah, I was going to take him. That's a good shout.
Somebody just mentioned in the chat as well about a potential Freeman. Does Freeman go to the Chiefs now if Williams has opted out? Possibility there.
Is there any chance that person in the chat is Jonathan Bartley, who's just taken Devonta Freeman at 13-3?
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
I bet he's happy about it though.
Actually,
I think I've got him on a bench in a dynasty league somewhere. Freeman. So, yeah, okay.
I'm sure he ends up somewhere. I don't see him not playing this year. I'm sure he ends up somewhere. It's just what situation he ends up in, whether he's buried in a committee or whether he gets an option.
So Johnny's just said on the chat that's why he took him. So Johnny knows the news before we know the news. Just so everyone's clear, he knows. He's got connections. He does have connections, actually. You got to watch that ball. Right, last pick. I suppose if I had a chance to think about it, would I take Darwin Thompson? I might, I suppose. If he's going to be second up. I mean, I know you've got Darrell Williams there as potentially a goal line back, but he's never done anything in the world ever, has he? So Darwin, I'd be tempted, I suppose, but I'm probably going to go for. I need a wide receiver just to balance out the roster. I think, considering we're not going to draft a full bench, so I'm going to take Curtis Samuel. The fact that I've got Teddy B, Curtis is the guy who's kind of the forgotten man in that offense, but he's massively talented, and he was everybody's super sleeper pick last year, wasn't he? He just didn't really get the chance or do it very well with Carl Allen. So I know they brought Robbie in, but he's got all the ability to do really well, and he could even get traded and be something at a different place. So I'm happy with Curtis there as a swing for the fences kind of high upside guy right at the end. Ruggs is a good shout right at the end. Quite like that.
Yeah. So, do a quick.
We done?
A quick summary. What do you think of your team?
So I got QB. I've got Stafford, Goff, and Teddy B. Quite like that actually. Running back started Mixon and Sanders, and DJ as my first three picks actually. So I'm a big fan of going running back heavy because I really like that. And like I said before, Cohen and James White, I'd actually be really happy with them in a full PPR league as my running back 4 and 5. I think they've got a massively safe floor, which is what I'm looking for. Running back 4 and 5. Wide receiver, not sexy in the slightest, but Thielen, Lockett, and Sanders are 3 guys that I'm actually quite high on because I think they've got the ability to way outperform their ADP. And then I got Curtis Samuel as just hit it and see what happens right at the end. So I'm all right with it. I think that's an all right team. It's one of those teams that could actually be crap or it could actually win. Probably nothing in between.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, as I said before, I don't love my team. QBs, I like the QBs. Jackson, because nice. I'm happy with that. Adams, obviously, is great. I think those running backs, Gurley, Bell, Ingram, as we said, they've got potential. If Gurley can be anything even remotely close to what he's been in the past, then that's fantastic. Basically, if he can hold up, if he can play relatively unimpeded, he should be fine.
Yeah.
Receivers, again, I don't love the receivers. They're none of the guys that are. They're none of my guys. The guys that I like, the guys that I want to be targeting. None of those are really any of those. I didn't really get any of those sorts of guys. So,
sunshine, you are not being very sunshiny. You're being miserable.
Well, it's a mock draft, isn't it? It's a mock draft. So, and I'm gonna once again blame the fact that I've had one eye on this live stream all the way through and driving that. So tomorrow for the 5-yard rush FFCC best ball, there will be no distractions. We'll just be straight in on that. So yeah, going back to this one though. So what we're going to be doing, there's a couple of guys in this draft. So most of the guys in the draft are participants. They're in Warrior Bowl 2020. There's 3 guys in here though that aren't. They didn't unfortunately get an invite. But what we're going to be doing, we're going to be putting their teams up on Twitter probably in the morning, and we'll run a poll. You tell us which one of those 3 you like the best. Whoever gets the most votes out of those 3, they're going to get themselves an invite to Warrior Bowl. So,
that's a great show.
So that'll get posted in the morning. Keep an eye out for that, and cast your vote on that. Out of those 3, which team you think is the best? So, any closing thoughts?
Just go running back early, kids. Don't risk it. It's not worth the risk. Look at Sunshine's face. He's miserable. He's absolutely miserable. Running back. You can't go wrong.
Agreed. Exactly. So make sure if you're in Warrior Bowl, make sure that you've accepted. All the sleeper invites have gone out now. So if you haven't seen it, check your junk folders, check your promotion folders, and any of those sorts of things. Make sure you've got it. If you still can't find it and you've got an original invite, or there's anything wrong with the link or anything like that, just drop us a DM, reply to an email, let us know, and we'll get it sorted out. Yeah. As soon as you get in there, the sooner you get the draft order sorted, and we can get going. Yeah. And then make sure you donate as well. So the link to donate was on the original invite. It's on the sleeper invite as well. So get on there, make sure you donate.
Yeah, we're gonna look at doing some content throughout the season as well. We're going to be looking at a weekly podcast. So a kind of a review of the week gone by. Who's got the worst and the best trade, the worst and the best start, the terrible bench, all the things that make you cringe and make you smile throughout the week. So we're looking at having that released every week as well. So we've got a good kind of recap, some good content throughout the year to keep people kind of really, really happy about the league. And then, yeah, come towards the end of the league, someone's going to be the ultimate warrior. Someone's going to be the first Warrior Bowl champion. And that is the kind of thing that you tell your grandkids' if the world still exists.
Exactly. And it was announced earlier this week that the next year we'll see the first ever Champions Bowl. So it's basically going to be like a Champion of Champions League, where the winner from a whole host of different leagues, so 12 leagues, Scottish Bowl, the Ryder Bowl, the UK Fantasy League, and Warrior Bowl, they're all going to be coming together to put their winners forward in a sort of a Champion of Champions tournament. So again, and that's something else to a little bit of an incentive. If you win, if you become ultimate fantasy football warrior, you'll also get a shot at competing against the best in the world in that tournament as well. So another little thing to take away and to look forward to. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for bearing with us. As I say, this was the first live stream that we've ever done, so hopefully it went okay. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you everyone that joined us for the draft as well, and we'll see you all again soon.
Yeah. Good night. God bless.